Testing. Think I'm connected? Connected on Facebook, but not. Okay. Yeah. So this is a weird time for me to be streaming on a Saturday, but you know what? I figured if I didn't force myself to do it, I'd just keep putting it off, man. I've been kind of slacking. Yeah, so I've been away for about a month, and a lot of things have happened. People asked me what's going on, and honestly, I couldn't give them too much of an answer because I was overseas. I tried to look up certain information and get as much as I could from my phone while I was there, but I got a lot of tools that I use and a lot of different sources of information that I kind of pull everything together to get the truth, because you can't just use the regular methods of flipping on a TV or jumping on Facebook or any of the other normie channels. You're just not going to get what you're looking for. You're just going to get sort of the chorus of narrative. The way I like to do it is source information from many different sources, and between those, the common themes is usually where the truth lies. I didn't have access to those tools while I was there, and it took me a little while to catch up once I got back to sort of figure out what was really happening. It's pretty crazy. Don't know where to start, but it's a lot. I don't know. It's kind of heavy for a Saturday, but like I said, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to make myself do it, because if I don't, I'm going to keep pushing it off. Everybody's going to get behind. I'm going to get more behind and all that. I think, let me see. Also, I'm going to do things a little bit different. You can call into this number. Where is it? Yeah. You can call into this number. Before I had it to where, people were texting and they were trying to call, and I would have to decide whether or not I was going to pick the call up. But what I'll do now is, while I'm talking, you can text it like normal. But if you want, you can let me know ahead of time that you just want to leave a voicemail or just call. You know what? I'll just leave it to where it goes straight to voicemail. And so if you're going to call the number, it's going to go straight to voicemail. If you text it, I'll get it like normal. But if you call it, I'm going to make it to where it goes straight to voicemail. And then what happens is when it goes into the voicemail box, it'll transcribe it so I can just read the text before I just press play, because I get a lot of crap where they just call up and say, "Hey, you suck ass," or whatever, and they hang up. So I'll read what you're talking about. And if you want me to play it, I can play it during the live stream and respond to it in that way. I figure that's easier for people who are on the go, and I don't know. I think it's kind of cool anyway. Oops. Yeah. But yeah, so I've kind of caught up with all the crazy stuff that has gone on while I was away, and man, it's heavy. A lot of people aren't gonna like what I've found, because it goes against a lot of things that of course, you already know that the news organizations aren't going to give you what's really going on, because they have a lot of vested interests in certain things. So the truth is unpleasant, and that brings me to the first point here. So above all, I think what everyone should do is, don't place your loyalty into people and organizations and political parties and brands and celebrities and all this shit. Because what happens is, when you do, those things are the most easily compromised and they get compromised first. So, oh, wow, you know what? Hey, Barnaby Jones is really, really popular right now. Everybody listens to Barnaby Jones. I'm just making up a name. So what happens is when everybody turns to old Barnaby Jones, they say, hey, Barnaby, listen, this is what you need to start telling people. And if you don't, you're not going to be popular anymore. We'll turn your career off like a switch. Oh, I don't care about my career. I'm Barnaby Jones. All right, well, we're going to kill your wife and kill your family. You see how that works? They're, boom, instantly compromised. Whoever's at the top is compromisable, and they'll find whichever way they can to compromise that. So then what happens, everybody says, hey, Barnaby Jones, man, you know, you got to tell us what's going on. What the hell should we do? And Barnaby Jones goes, guys, I think we should just get down and just start kissing their butt cheeks. Everyone, yeah. No. This is my true thoughts. You should start kissing their butt cheeks. Kiss it real good. All right, I gotta go now. Bye. Oh, was that good? Okay, thank you. Don't kill me, don't. So, sorry, but my point is, your loyalty shouldn't be to people, places, organizations, ideas. Even your loyalties should always be to the truth, wherever it leads, because you can't go wrong with the truth. You can be led astray in many ways, and they will find those ways to lead you astray. But when you seek out the truth and only the truth of whatever the situation is, about a person, about an event, about the state of what's happening in the world, it will always lead you there. It'll always lead you there. And as long as you keep that focus, they can't steer you wrong. And it is difficult. I'm not saying, like, you know, I'm not trying to beat you over the head and be like, hey, dummy, of course everybody, you know. It's difficult, but that's, you can't just let them throw all this smoke and all these useless details into situations and have you chasing your tail or chasing bullshit that doesn't matter. No, you have to see what's going on. And if somebody says, hey, your favorite person in the world all of a sudden says that this isn't true, you got to say, all right, well, I'm sorry, favorite person in the world, but I'm in pursuit of the truth. And if you aren't in pursuit of that truth anymore, then I got to let you go. That's how it has to be. That's how you can never be led astray. So on that point, so a lot of streamers all of a sudden, you know, they're Charlie Kirk and you know, that whole thing that happened. There's a lot of details that don't make any sense, and they're not supposed to make sense. It's the same thing that I said about the attempted Trump assassination. They throw out a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense because what they want you to do is be caught in confusion, loops of confusion. And the more confusion that you're stuck in that loop of, the more they're safe with what really happened. They just continue. You understand? So it benefits them greatly when you're confused and nothing makes any sense and everybody's talking about things that aren't accurate and they're just going in all directions. Well, that just allows them for a cleaner getaway. So, yeah, the confusion is intentional, is what I'm saying. You have to understand that they need you to be confused in order to get away with whatever it is that they're trying to get away with. They need that confusion. They will push that confusion. They love that confusion. And anyone else that says, you know what, I don't care about these details, the devil's in the details, and I don't care about them, I want to get to the truth, what really happened. So what's really crazy is that, you know, that whole thing happened, and there's only two people that I've seen that are really, really after the truth, and they are Candace Owens and Jimmy Dore. Actually, and Mark Dice also. Mark Dice is always solid. I sometimes forget about Mark Dice because he's always such a solid dude. Everything that comes from him is so well researched and accurate that sometimes I forget about him, because you don't really have to think about him. You just kind of tune in and go, yep, he's on the same page. We're all on the same page. But yeah, Candace Owens has been lately, she's been smeared as like crazy. And it's very easy to see when all these streamers just all of a sudden start calling her nuts. Oh, she's off the deep end now. She's crazy. She don't know what she's talking about. I've listened to everything that she says, and what she says isn't crazy at all. This is how these things happen. And the point is, what she's done is zoom out. Okay, you have to zoom out in these type of situations in order to see the big picture. A lot of these YouTubers and independent journalists, what they do is they get focused on something stupid and then nothing starts to make sense to them because they're going down this tiny detail that really doesn't lead anywhere. What you have to do is look at it, and everybody's keeps saying you got to look at it from a zoomed out angle. Why is everyone saying that Candace Owens is crazy? Why do they think she's crazy? Because she's seeing the bigger picture. What it takes to compromise somebody, it isn't much. It isn't much. So she's not crazy. She's just seeing a much bigger picture than most are and most want to. So they focus on stuff and they start calling her crazy. So let me highlight this. I want to kind of jump to this real quick with Charlie Kirk. So a lot of people were, of course this is terrible. Nobody wants to see anybody shot. Duh, right? Except for, the disgusting communist left. And there's a really, really good question that somebody asked me a couple weeks ago. They were like, hey Dan, don't you think it's kind of ridiculous to call them communists? Just as ridiculous for them to call us Nazis. And I said, no. And it's very simple why. We call them communists because they say and do what communists do. They call us Nazis, and you don't see any Nazi behavior. You don't see people marching down the streets, giving the Roman salute, and shouting, white power. You don't see that, right? So my point is that it's easily observable. One is the truth that they're commies, and one is just more bullshit gaslighting that everybody normal is a Nazi. They're gaslighting, and what we see is that they're communists because it's observable. Believe it or not, there is an observable truth to every situation. It is not a matter of perspective. Okay? There is not a matter of perspective on anything. I'm reminded of there was an old 1940s. It was like a poster where it had a 6 and a 9 drawn. Oh my God, I've been waiting for you, dude. He's back. That video of Charlie, man, where I've seen a video of that girl on the train. Man, I'll get into that. Let me finish this before I lose my train of thought. Because I'm scatterbrained and that's easy. But there was an old picture of, I want to say it was from 1940s, and it was a poster of a 6 or a 9 drawn on the floor, and there's two people standing over it, and and one guy's saying it's a 6, the other guy's saying it's a 9, and the point of it was supposed to be that different perspectives show that they could both be right, and that it's a matter of perspective. But here's what everybody misses. I've seen that fucking meme a million times. And here's the truth. You say, Dan, well, where's the observable truth in that? How can you know the truth? Here's how. You find the person that put that on the ground and you ask them, is this a 6? Is this a 9? Because that person had an intention of it being a 6 or a 9. So there is an observable truth. Even with a stupid, made-up scenario like that, you have to find the truth. Okay? So this matter of perspective bullshit, it's just bullshit. Okay? We observe them doing communist things, so we call them communists. They observe us of defending ourselves and call us Nazis. So one is reality and observable truth. The other is gaslighting bullshit. Okay, just wanted to get that out of the way. You have to keep that in mind, because one of the biggest tricks that they pull is making you doubt yourself that what you're seeing is just you're just misunderstanding something. You're just missing something. Oh, it's just a matter of perspective. Is that things are skewed. Bullshit. Trust yourself more than anyone else. Because their biggest weapon is using your own doubts against you, confusing you. Like I've said it many times, all they have is gaslighting and bullshit. They're all smoke and mirrors. Everything that they do is bullshit. And I'm pretty sure that 9 out of 10 people know that now. But so anyway, the whole Charlie Kirk thing, fucking crazy. So what it looks like, I'm gonna go into this, and I hope this stream don't get called off. Gets called off. Man, I don't feel good. I've got a respiratory thing that I caught in Japan. It's been fucking me up this whole time. So what it looks like, and I know people don't want to hear this, and I'm sorry, I really am, but I'm following the truth to what it looks like. It looks like the people surrounding Charlie were compromised. They probably were threatened, because no one likes to just say, hey, oh, this is my best friend, this is my husband, this is my coworker, he's the founder of all this company and stuff. Sure, I'll take that money and set him up. No one does that. But what they do is, if somebody says, hey, I know where you live, your kids go to this school, oh, you love your mom, well, guess what, I know where your mom goes. If you don't do this, or let us do this, and cooperate with us and shut your mouth and let this all happen, we're going to take them out. We're going to end your career. We're going to frame this and frame that. So there's 1,000,001 ways that they compromise people around the target, is what I'm saying. And so what Candace Owens is trying to tell everybody, what Jimmy Dore is trying to tell everybody, is that everyone around him, when she says that they betrayed him, it wasn't that they wanted to. It wasn't that they wanted to. His security team was compromised. There's a ton of coordination that went in there. There was Google searches for the judge's name that's with this Tyler Robinson asshole. Before it happened, there was Google searches for the name Tyler Robinson 24 hours before anyone even knew who he was. So there's just all of these details that point to foreknowledge and a setup. And they silenced everyone around him in his circles, so that anyone who knew what was coming was scared to death to speak out. Okay? That's what happened. They took him out because he didn't want to play ball. I said that in a couple of other streams. One of the things that people do, these organizations do, is that if you don't want to play ball and they realize that they can't control you, well, then that's it. You're gone. You're done playing the game. You're out of the game. And if you're a serious threat like he was, because he was talking about it and sending texts saying, hey, look, I'm getting threats by Israeli agents. They're saying that I need to play ball with them or else they're going to take me out. He said that in text messages. So, there's a lot of people like, oh, that's fucking anti-Semitic. Bro, shut the fuck up with all this bullshit. I'm tired of hearing these fucking names getting thrown around and trying to silence people by, making them seem like a certain way. What you got to do is just stop giving a fuck what they say about you. What they think about us, about anything, doesn't matter. Your loyalty should be to the truth. Don't let them derail you. So anyway, he didn't want to play ball, and not only did he not want to play ball, they were also feeling threatened that he had such a large young audience. He basically had an entire generation at his fingertips that if he started talking, boom, that's an entire generation they've lost control of. And so that's why they took him out. It's pretty safe to say that everyone knows that that's why he was taken out, but it seems like that everyone's shifting focus on like how did they let this happen. So that's kind of like why I'm trying to explain is how, you know. I've heard some really fucking crazy stuff where people are like, well, his wife was in on it, Trump was in on it. It's like, no, listen, if his wife was involved in some way, that fucking sucks. And if it's true that she was involved, I guarantee it was against her will. Now, listen, what do you think a mother would do if she was forced, let's say at gunpoint, to say, it's your husband's life, it's your husband's life or your entire family's life and your children's lives? What would you do? Everybody would. No one wants to make that choice, but if that happened, then that's the choice that she would make, right? So you just got to apply logic to this. And then there's also the angle where people like to say, well, Dan, how does everybody keep this secret? What do you mean? You don't have to have control over every single person. They just all have to know that there's a threat that if they don't play ball, they're next. Everything that follows after that comes natural. It's all self-preservation. You don't have to micromanage 1,000 different people from talking, because they all know that same singular point, that if they talk, bad things happen. So it's self-preservation. It's just a natural. Everyone starts covering their ass. If somebody speaks up, they say, shut the fuck up. Everyone's silencing each other. You don't need this big, giant, coordinated conspiracy. It's just self-preservation in a natural way that everything sort of gets closed up, buttoned up, and pushed away because no one wants to get fucked up. Very simple. So... and that also brings me into the second part of that whole Charlie Kirk thing. Man, he was a great guy. You know, he said asshole things because asshole things were said to him. So, yeah, you can take that out of context all you want. I mean, I say ignorant things when I'm fucking pissed off. It takes a lot to get me pissed off, but when I am, of course I'm going to say, you know what I mean? So you can't focus on these stupid little sound bites and clips of him sort of like arguing back with these assholes. I mean, they're just these fucking dorks, man. They're pieces of shit. They're gaslighting commies. I mean, you know. So one thing that I've always, I think that has always kept me, just kept me good throughout my entire life, is that from a young age I realized that there are certain people that they don't understand anything. They don't want to debate you. They don't want to talk to you, and they don't want to figure out if they're wrong or not. They want to hurt you. That's it. That's their point. Their point is they want to cause damage. They want to irritate you. They want to throw you off your game. They want to disrupt what your plans, and they want to hurt you. So you have to have the ability to recognize those type of people. There are people, you know, a lot of go, oh, well, you know, these people, they're doing all this fucked up stuff because they believe the wrong things. We got to give them sympathy. They're just misguided. No, they're not misguided. They want you dead. You're not going to change their mind. Their language is violence. That's what they will use. And you have to have the ability to switch gears. You have to have the ability to recognize when you're dealing with these type of people. Because if you don't, you will be next. So there's been many times in my life where I realized that, this person's not here to joke with me or have a conversation. This person just showed up and they want to fuck me up. So you have to go from 0 to 100 like that. You have to switch gears. You have to know when the person that you're talking to doesn't want to talk. And so the ultimate power that comes from that, it's violence. I'm sorry to say that is the ultimate form of power. Is, changing minds is great. What Charlie did with changing so many minds and basically helping them to unsabotage their lives, because they're already in these leftist colleges where they're brainwashed and set up for failure. He's done very good things, right? But there's a point that you have to realize none of that matters to certain people. The only thing that they understand is pain. Will this hurt me? Can I hurt them? That's the only thing that's in their brain, and you have to recognize when you see that, because if you don't, your life is in danger. It's that simple. So, like I said, there's been plenty of times in my life where I realize this, and I say, all right, well, I got to stop being friendly. It's go time. You got to take a different posture. You got to stand back, and you got to get ready to be punched in the face and to punch in the face. Maybe worse. Maybe they've got weapons. You don't know, but you have to recognize that. There are some people who, I've said this a million times, that these people don't want to debate. They don't want to be embarrassed, first of all. They want you dead. And it's that simple. A lot of times what they're doing and saying, the reason why it sounds so stupid and ridiculous is because they are trying to annoy you. They realize that their lives have been amounting to nothing. So what they do is they say, well, shit, well, what can I do? I'm pretty powerless. No one's listening to me anymore. You can't ignore a fist. You can't ignore a bullet. So that's what they resort to. They are nothingness in human form. So they create chaos. Yeah. So yeah, I think I got a lot of, yeah. All right, so let me go to the next thing. I mean, so far, it seems like everybody, I don't know, am I not getting messages or something? Let me go on to the next thing. So right now, if I forgot anything, if I started to go, please just pop up and remind me. So which brings me to the next component of all of these things. These things are all combined, and they all relate to each other, to what is actually happening in the world right now as people are talking more and more. Everybody's like wondering, what the fuck, where's this all going to lead? The government shut down, people are being assassinated, people are getting stabbed in the neck on trains, and so like, where is this going, and how is this going to keep continuing without people sort of like making aware of it? And I'll tell you, this is how they're continuing it. Remember when I said devil's in the details? They like to, oops, what the hell just happened there? Devil's in the details, and they like to get you caught up in confusion loops, manufactured loops of confusion, so that they can continue on their path and everyone else is talking about shit that ultimately doesn't matter. Here's the next crazy thing that they're doing, and I've seen this myself. They are doing it now. So signal reduction, I've explained what that is. It's a, let's say you've got two groups of people. These people wear, they have blue hair, and these people have green hair. Well, blue hairs do this and green hairs do that. Okay, well, they take those two bits of information of that, and what they do is they reduce the signal of those. So now you no longer can identify these two groups, and now there's aspects of both of these groups that are mixed up. You can't tell who is who anymore. That's what signal reduction is. It's a military term. It's a psychological term. but it's been used for the last, 3-4 years. So here's the next step of that. It's wild. All on social media, YouTube, X, TikTok, mainstream media. Of course, they're the first ones that get targeted for this type of shit. But mainly, what it is whenever there's a section of a website or a social media site that has comments, that allows comments and conversation, what they're doing is they're releasing AI bots into the comment section, and they are finding unflattering narratives and unflattering opinions of humans, and the bots will target those humans and say, bot content. Oh, here's another bot. So you've got bots targeting actual real people, calling the real people bots. And the point to that is to signal reduce human information, human experiences with what's happening in the real world. And what they want to do is switch everybody's brains into thinking that what's going on in the comment section and just conversations in general is all bot content. And all bot content, actual bot content that contains bullshit, they want you to think that's humans talking. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is probably the most dangerous thing that I've ever seen, because what that means is, in the end, everybody is re-entering the ecosystem of lies and bullshit that the old gatekeepers have had for decades. But now, instead of coming through a TV box and straight into your brain, you're going to the comment section and getting re-brainwashed there by what you think is human opinion and human experiences. But it's bots. And all the things that you think are bots, all the human experience says, no, you know what? I was walking down the street the other day and this happened. Now the bots are attacking those people and saying, no, that's bot. That's bot bullshit. It's just a bunch of bots. Don't listen to that. So what they're doing is taking comment sections and human opinions and burying them with AI. AI-generated comments. Now, I know... Yeah, everybody's seen this. Yeah, you'll see it on 9gag. You'll see it on Facebook, X. It's done in mass. Like I said, the whole point is to confuse the two groups. All bot content will seem like humans sharing the truth, and all humans sharing the truth will seem like bot content. So watch out for that. Next time that you see a bunch of people like on the comment of YouTube sections saying, oh, that's a bot, don't listen to them, that's bot bullshit, think twice. So yeah, and then also, am I not getting comments? Yeah, I don't know. And so, all right, the last thing here. Yeah, so there's been a lot of boomer hate recently, because a lot of these, you've seen the fake protests where it's like, no kings, and they're like, what the hell are you even talking about, no kings? Who said that they were a king? Of course it's something that somebody took out of context and they ran with it because, like I said, they got nothing. They just got gaslighting and bullshitting. That's manipulation. That's it. So they just take some stupid bit of information and stretch it into something because they've got nothing. And what happens is when they go to stage these protests, they get the most vulnerable. The people with no jobs, the people who are just sitting around vegetable-like watching Fox and CNN and Newsmax has popped up and recently gotten popular, but oh my god, it's just all it is just fucking all of it's bullshit. I think the only news network that actually has any integrity that mirrors real life and like what actual humans are experiencing and seeing is One America News Network. They're doing a really good job of staying independent. They're not allowing people to sort of like throw money into their shit and just take control of it and steer the narrative back to like, oh yeah, we're all Judeo-Christians and, fuck you. Fuck all of you. We need to focus on reality. You need to get your stupid religions out of the shit and come back to reality first. Your beliefs on spirituality and God and all this stuff, that's great, very interesting, I'm happy for you, but keep it the fuck out of information. When people tune into the news, they want information, okay? They don't really want to know what you think about life and death and who the fuck is. Look, great, I am interested in all that shit, but not when I'm trying to get information, okay? So if you want just pure information and people that aren't being swayed by all these lobbies and fucking different groups who are just trying to like basically absorb you into their ecosystem of grifting and bullshit, stay with One American News Network. Really good. Can't say enough about them. They're just they're very on point, very, very accurate. So anyway, when these type of protests and stuff get going, they go after the most vulnerable and jobless, and a lot of boomers are retired, so they are prime targets for approaching and saying, hey, you're probably drawing Social Security, but would you like some extra money to help you out in these struggling times? Well, we've got a fucking big ball of signs over here, and don't worry what it means. It doesn't matter. Just pick up a sign and stand on the street. And, by the way, we got a really catchy chant and a song that's cringe as fuck. But if you do it, we'll give you a little bit extra, So, do I think the boomer hate is justified? No. No, I don't. Because they are basically old liberals being confronted and confused by new bullshit. So somebody brought this up. I think it was Sam Hyde. How boomers grew up with TV was new. And so whatever appeared on the TV box was just the truth, right? That's just the way that they grew up, and that's the way that their minds sort of formed, is that if it isn't on the TV box, then it didn't happen, it's not true, and the TV box is Jesus Christ, right? So what happens is the technology changes, culture changes, information flows have absolutely changed. It's 180. Now everything on the TV box is a goddamn ridiculous, laughable lie. It's a joke, but you got these old liberals who think that the $1 billion corporate suit man is their buddy. So you've got these people that have grown up in this very innocent time with all these sinister tactics being used on them, and they're just being eaten alive. So I don't blame them. What they need to do is have real people come to them and explain what's happening. I know that sounds like babysitting and all this bullshit, but think about it. Think about it. Do you want them to be used as like human shields on you and your family? Or do you want them to understand so that they can take back control of their minds? You can't just throw hate at somebody that sincerely doesn't understand what's happening, right? If they do understand what's happening and they're doing it anyway, then fuck them, right? That's what I was saying about the importance of switching gears, is identifying who is who. But from what I've seen, my identification process has seen that most boomers just have no fucking idea what's happening. And it's not their fault. That's just what I've seen. So I don't think it's justified. I think people need to do a little better work at identifying who's being malicious and who just really has no idea what's happening. Like I said many times, because it's very easy for people to be sucked into different groups and ideas because it sounds like something that they want to hear. It sounds enticing, it's a carrot at the end of the string, and then before you know it, they're chopping their own dicks off, calling themselves Nancy, and you're like, Nate, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm Nancy now. It's a slope. It's a slope. So you gotta catch those. You gotta catch those signs before it spirals into something that's insane. You know what I mean? Miss you, man. Hey, Tim, what's up, buddy? That's deep. Now all of a sudden I'm getting a flood of comments. What the hell? Is there like a delay and then all the comments get bunched together on Facebook and then it just shoots at you all of a sudden? I don't know. I got a notification for your video finally. That's deep. Hey, what's up, bro? Miss you, man. OG libs actually fought for people to be equal and to do the right thing for equality, like civil rights and gay marriage. Yeah, man. It's a different world now. Yeah. So the old libs, like I said, the old liberals were, I think that they were genuine. You know what I mean? But there's, like I said, movements can be hijacked and turned into absolute 180 nightmares. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's happened. They sort of thought that their team that just wanted everybody to sort of be free and express themselves and love and be loved. They think that it's the same team. It's not. It's just not, because any group can be infiltrated and turned against itself, and the ultimate goal to stop any group is to have the group attack itself, to self-sabotage. That's the ultimate way to take down any group, is to have the group fight itself. And that's been true for hundreds of years. I mean, these aren't recent tactics. These are 1,000-year-old tactics. If you read books like The Art of War and just books that have been around for hundreds of years, they teach you these type of things. Psychology and human nature don't change. So technology and culture, they change all the time. Cultures change a lot, but psychology and the basic animal instincts that we all have always been the same. And it sucks because there are many groups that have perfected the art of exploiting those human nature, very natural thoughts into, oh, guess what? Well, hey, Mr. Fucking Machiavelli over here, he taught me how to take somebody's brain and hit this switch and make them want to fucking sabotage their whole lives. So, hey, man, give me a bunch of money, I'll come work for you, bro. And so that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with old liberals on the boomer thing that are not aware that they've self-destructed long ago. And what they're seeing now, it ain't their team. It's somebody using them like a rag doll to throw their bodies on grenades. And it's terrible. That's really weird how all of a sudden I got all these comments that popped up on Facebook. Oops. So, I think I got those things. I think I covered those 4 topics. I probably missed something. I try to write these notes on the screen so I can go through my thoughts on them, but I'm sure that I missed something. I always do. But yeah, text me or call in live, free, of course. It's just a regular number, 410-989-1354. If you call, it'll go straight to voicemail, and then I can play the voicemail live and respond to it in that way, or you can just text me like everybody else. and I'll see it that way. By the way, texting seems to be immediately, but if you write something on Facebook, there's a huge delay. Like a huge delay, like minutes. This one says 6 minutes ago. Yeah, 6 minute delay on Facebook. But if you text me, it's like right away. I see it pops right up on my screen, like immediately. Yeah, so let me see here. Let me check my phone real quick. Let me see. Yeah, so like I said, hit that number right there, 410-989-1354. Call it, and it will just go immediately to voicemail. It'll say something like, hey, I'm live streaming, leave a voicemail, and I'll read it on, and I'll play it. I'll play the voicemail so everyone else can hear it. So far, nobody's done that. That's a new thing. Let me see. So let me go back to... Yeah, there was one thing. So there's this thing where a lot of groups... what did you say? What's on your hat? Adore the call or text an option of this. What's on your hat? What's on my hat? Oh, the logo. Yep. Pretty nice, huh? Yeah, my hair's a little messy, so I figured I'd wear a hat. Hide that old bush, you know what I'm saying? What was I talking about? Yeah. So a lot of these groups, now that they've realized they've lost so much power, and that just normal everyday people are realizing that all they are is full of shit, right? They're just gaslighting, commies, they're full of shit, don't listen to them. So the reason why they've resorted to violence all over the place is because we're ignoring them. They're like children, you know. You ignore them, and what do? They try to get your attention even more, and they act out, right? So the point of them creating chaos is that when there's chaos, there's freedom of movement between the chaos, right? And their end goal is controlling that chaos. So when everybody's confused, somebody steps up and says, hey, you want this chaos to stop? Well, I'll stop it for you. I know how to stop it for you. Yes, let me control this chaos, and I'll bring the chaos down, when they were the ones that were creating it. But in reality, it doesn't work. It never works. They think they're creating chaos in order to control the outcome, but what happens is they lose control of the chaos, so they create more chaos to try to control that chaos, and what you end up with is the current state of the world today. Everyone creating additional chaos, thinking that they can control the chaos that they created out of the chaos to control it, which creates more chaos that they think they're going to control, and it just goes on and on. No one can control it. It's just a losing strategy that all communist regimes come up with. It's all throughout history. This is what it's shown. And what we're seeing right now, all these different signs, are the signs of communist collapse. They call it late-stage capitalism, which is a transition into communism, because they go, well, capitalism, everybody's fucking greedy, and no, listen. Capitalism capitalizes on supply and demand. People supply something, capitalism capitalizes on that demand and supplies it. It's that simple. Oh, what's that? Everybody wants golden bananas? Hey, I'll step up and I'll give you some golden bananas. Now I'm rich, because everybody demanded golden bananas and I provided the golden bananas. Communism, however, is theft. It's just theft. That's all it is. Everybody's, oh, what's that? You're making money off of golden bananas, and so are you? Well, guess what? You owe me money. You owe me that money, and I'm going to give it to my buddies. That's communism. I come up with stupid stuff to explain these things. I don't know where they come from, but have you thought about going to YouTube or streaming on X or Twitch? Not sure of their guidelines, but I've seen plenty of podcasts do conspiracy theories. I tried Twitch a few years ago, and as soon as I think it was like 10 minutes in, it said you have been banned for terms of service, blah, whatever the horse shit that they gave. But yeah, they shut my stuff down pretty quick. And there was also another website that I tried that claimed to be like 100% free speech, and they I got on there and I said, I don't know, I forgot what I said, but it was something about, the whole COVID bullshit, the whole scamdemic, and I just got on there, and it was the only post that I made, and the only post that I made, I had like 32,000 followers like instantly. What the hell was that? I think I even sent a screenshot to you to ask if you were on there. With capitalism, anyone can make money and work for themselves. Do they want that impossible to do? Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. They don't explain the difference between capitalism and communism in school anymore. They only teach you that communism's good because everyone wins. No one asks themselves, well, how the fuck is that possible? You can't provide everything from nothing, right? It's just a failure of the schools. They're lost in the sauce. But yeah, the only free speech that I've seen that's like 100%, I'm talking 100%, I've never seen anyone get banned, is Gab. Man, they, it's so free speech that sometimes you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't be looking at this in public because people are saying the craziest junk on there. But yeah, hats off to Andrew Torba from Gab. Just amazing dude. And you do have nasty people on there saying just crazy stuff that doesn't help anything, doesn't solve anything, it doesn't lead you to the truth to anything. It's just they're just being dicks. But that's on every social media site. But the difference is, at least that if you get into an argument with somebody who is a bad person, you can prove to them, hey, you're an asshole, and everyone sees it. Because a lot of social media, you get the bad people who are basically promoted to the top, like, hey, I'm an asshole piece of shit, I'm getting promoted, now I'm the top dog of this site. Like they encourage bad behavior, and there's nothing that you can do about it because the censorship is skewed to for narratives. No matter how nasty the people are, it's the censorship is skewed to protect narratives instead of the truth. So bad people rise just because they're carrying a narrative. And that doesn't happen on Gab. You start, getting people like celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, for example, then they're going to pile on that asshole, and he's going to feel very fucking unwelcome very quick. But on other social media sites, what do you see? Especially on like places like Twitch, they go to the top celebrating shit like that. So it's encouraging bad behavior. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. I'll simplify it like this. Freedom of speech allows people the room to point out evil. Censorship allows evil to thrive. And that's the you can dissect it a million different ways, but that's always the outcome. Every platform was touchy about the Black Plague. Oh, the plague back then. Maybe they aren't now. No, they're not. They've released a lot of their grip on that since, everybody's sort of seen with their own eyes what the hell's going on. But yeah. Man, I think I went through those pretty good. I don't know who's watching me on Facebook still. Nobody. Hold on. What was that? Why do you guys wait? Why do you wait until I get on Facebook to ask me personal ass questions? Like the crazy things I've done in my past. I'm seeing a pattern here. Like, I think you're trying to put me on the spot and fuck with me. Yeah, I think you caught me. Great episode. Everyone has freedom to say whatever they want as long as they don't hurt anyone. Doesn't mean people will like it. Exactly. That's always been my thought. Like, do what you want. If you want to drink fucking toilet cleaner and in your own home, I mean, I don't recommend that. I wouldn't want you to do that. But if you really want to do it, then you should have the freedom to do what you want. But don't go shoving toilet cleaner down other people's throats. That's where you got to draw the line. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, great episode. Thank you. Keep posting on Facebook and be consistent. People will find you. Yeah. Well, I don't care about if anyone finds me. I've used my website as the community for the past 25 years, 26 years. So I don't really care about, I mean, that's why I've always been absent from social media. It's just, I don't care. I don't need social media. I know that sounds like an asshole thing to say, but social media treats people like me very harshly. So I'm like, okay, well, if it's fuck me, then fuck you. You know what I mean? So I've built the community around my site, and yeah, that's where I stay. But I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, if I stay consistent with social media, I'll have a larger following on there. But see, I don't know what that means. Is that just a waste of time? Because once I cross that threshold, they just ban me anyway. You know, I can't get banned from my own site. So that's where I stay, you know. I don't know if you know this, but I'm streaming to my site first, to that chat, and then the stream also is connected to Facebook. Yeah, I don't know if you might not have heard me explain that before. But yeah, why you guys you always wait until I get on Facebook and then start asking me like stupid things from my past that I did? And let me just say this. Of course I've done stupid things in my past. I was a kid once. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, when I started my website, I was 15 years old. Actually, wait. Yeah, I think I was 15. I can't remember. It was like 98 is when I started tinkering with all that junk, and I started putting a website together and sort of like trying to get things to the point where I could communicate with people that were interested in what I was saying. You know what I mean? I remember finding your site in the 90s. Yeah, man. What a crazy. And you know what? Here, let me say this, because people get on me a lot. They'll be like, Dan, your site still has some like really stupid shit on there, man. Why don't you remove that? You know why it's stupid? It's because it was on there since I was a kid. My site's been around for a long time, so of course there's some dumb stuff on there, and I only keep it to remind myself how far I've come. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to remind yourself that, wow, I used to be a real dumbass. It's funny how things changed since then, you know, whatever. So I keep it on my site to sort of remind me, like, look how far, you know, the point of life is growth. If you get on my site and you find something dumb, I don't give a fuck. I was dumb. I was a kid. I was 15. Or younger. I don't remember. So yeah, suck my balls. You know? Sorry, I meant somewhere in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think. Yeah, I think, yeah, the music, the videos, the art, all that stuff. Like I am constantly trying to, like I'll go to my storage unit and get out just a bunch of old drives and, like, CDs that don't even work anymore. It sucks. Depressing. Some of those CDs are like rotted from being in storage, and I can't get the files off of them. Some freestyles and stuff that we did, like videos and junk, they were absolute gold that I always told myself, yeah, I'm going to put that back on my website. That's so funny. That'd be great for everybody to see. And they're gone. You know, I can't get them. They're just lost to time. Yeah, it sucks. But, yeah, what the fuck, man? You know, I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. Hold on. What'd you say? No, it's fine. No. You can ask me about anything. You can ask me about anything. I don't care. Like, there's no shame in being a young kid and doing dumb stuff. Like, I talk about that stuff that I did, and I laugh about it. I laugh at myself, and I laugh about how dumb I used to be. And it's fine. But I have a problem with you. Don't use it, like, to try to put me on the spot. First of all, it won't work. You can't put me on the spot. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'll talk about anything, but don't you know, I think what you're trying to do is, like, embarrass me, and you try to get me to talk about things that don't really. And somebody asked me a question last time where I went into it, and I really didn't want to go into it, not because it was embarrassing to me, but because it really didn't have, like, an ending or a punchline. Like, it really wasn't that interesting to me. But they wanted me to talk about it anyway, and I was just like, okay, I will, but it's not very. It's crazy, but it don't really have, like, a ending to it, you know. Like, I don't know. It's just, sometimes people ask me to talk about stuff that it's not really, you know, not really that interesting, and yeah. Let me check. Hold on. So, yeah, suggest a topic. Let me see. I'll leave that blank there. Don't remove the video. Yeah, I'm still trying to find, like, old stuff to put back on the site, because I feel like, you know, everything gets lost to time, and especially with social media, things get pushed out and sort of lost forever because of the amount of stuff that you'd have to go through and to go through to be able to look into the past, you know. And so I don't know. And also for me personally, I really enjoy looking at stuff that someone said to me, where they said something nice to me, or maybe they wrote a paper about me. Like, when I first started my site, like I said, I was 15. So a lot of my fans were also my age, you know, and they were still in school. And they'd say, oh, I did a paper on you. I made this in art class. And they send it to me, and I'm like, holy shit, that's amazing, you know? That's fucking awesome. So I'd save it, and, you know, I still look at that stuff. I love it. It you know, when I'm feeling down and stressed out about shit, I go and look at that stuff. It's like, oh, wow, man, you know, somebody really gave a shit, and they made this. It's fucking awesome. And I don't care if anybody thinks that's weird. Let me see. Oh, man, let me show this on the screen. Let me show this on the screen. Let me show this. So here's a chart that I came up with that I think is very important. This sucks that I've waited an hour to show this, but I think it's very important. Yes, I did some art for you, and it feels great to see it still up on your site. Hell yeah. Well, it feels great for me to look at it. You know what I mean? It's such a win-win. It's cool, but then it also means something, you know, it's not just cool. It means a lot to me, you know what I mean? Like, it looks cool, but really what I'm thinking about is that whole time period, the time that it took to make that, and it just makes me feel fucking amazing. it makes me feel good. I don't know how else to say it. I know it sounds corny or whatever, but that's it, you know. It's awesome. But let me get this cheat sheet up here. This is very important. I should have said this in the beginning. Damn. Here's a cheat sheet, all right? So everybody was like trying to figure out what was going on, who's who, you know, why are these people saying this and why are they doing that? And it's like, okay, look, all these assholes are running signal reduction on both sides because what they're trying to do is create so much chaos they can move with freedom, right? But always remember these points. Okay, you know, the woke, the word woke. I think that, you know, this type of stuff, it's on my website. You can download it. Like if you see the link to this picture, you can click it, and then at the bottom there's a thing where it says save. Now this isn't 100% all the time. We don't care about 100% all the time. But majority of what all of this is the truth, okay? So when there's something crazy going on in the news and everybody's like, well, what's going on? Who's responsible for that? You can use this as a cheat sheet, and it's very, very apparent, very fast of who's responsible for what. So, but I thought this was very interesting here. So Republicans and Democrats, Republicans like to call Democrats communists. But the truth is, communism is mainly a Jewish invented thing. And what's really crazy about Democrats calling Republicans Nazis is that the Democrats are largely owned by Muslim money. And in most Muslim countries, they have swastikas tattooed on themselves. This is the truth. There was a documentary in 2006, I believe, about that, where matter of fact, it was called Obsession. It just popped into my head. The documentary is called Obsession, and it's about Nazis and Muslim countries and how they align with Nazism to attack Jewish states, which is really fucking crazy. So now you've got Democrats and Republicans calling each other these things as like insults, and there's absolute truth behind it, except that it's reversed, right? The Jewish-owned party is calling the Nazi-owned party communists, but it's totally reversed. You see what I'm saying? And if you look back through history, they've been fighting with each other for thousands of years. So here's my thing. What are the odds that their 3,000 years being at war with each other has manifested itself into the two parties that we have today? What are the odds? So you've got the same two factions fighting each other and using different groups to achieve the same stupid fucking 3,000-year-old war. Crazy, huh? What are the odds? What are the odds? But, yeah, so this little cheat sheet, I think, is very good. Democrats use violence. Republicans use debate. The Democrats are definitely too crazy, and the Republicans are just too calm. They let too much go. They're starting to, sort of catch up with really what's happening and getting their ass in gear and taking military action, which, oh, by the way, I said that on Facebook a couple of years ago, where I said the military is the only way. I said that, I think, in like 2019, 2020, something like that. But yeah, so this is a cheat sheet. Sorry if it offends anybody, but like I said, you got to have your loyalty aligned with truth wherever it leads, even if it's ugly, even if you don't like it. This is me here in the center and independent. So these are my observations, and it reigns true for everybody that I've shown this to. Democrats, scream and cry. Republicans laugh and joke. Democrats pro-Antifa. Republicans pro-police. I think both are bad because there's a lot of bad police. So chaos and order, all this stuff. Some of it's uncomfortable. Sorry. Democrats, they really love trans and sex work, and Republicans really love being straight and getting married. So, So anyway, I think I'll end it there. And thanks for everybody that participated. I did not check the chat much. It's mainly just trying to get through this as fast as possible because, like I said, I just don't feel good. I caught some kind of respiratory thing in Japan. From a warehouse, actually, an old secondhand warehouse that I was looking through stuff. Really cool stuff, but I knew once something, I felt something in my lungs. I was like, uh-oh, this is a problem, and it stuck with me. So I'm still I'm fighting it. Anyway, until next time. Yeah, so we got to do this. We got to do this voicemail thing. I'd really like to have people send voicemails instead of just texts. Yep. All right. Until next time, see ya. Sayonara, snotwads.